and I've been a neurologist, a clinical neurologist for over 30 years, and I have a particular area of expertise in dementia, Alzheimer's disease, cognitive impairment. And this is something that we don't enjoy doing when we see someone who is afflicted, but we are concerned. And I would say that if anyone accused us of having an agenda, our agenda is an agenda of concern, not an agenda of hate, but an agenda of concern. That we're concerned for Mr. Biden's, for Vice President Biden's personal health, and also we're concerned because he is looking to become the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, and that's a role that requires an inordinate amount of cognitive ability. It requires someone to be on the top of their game, as well as to be able to express themselves in a proper manner. And it's been clear to many that he's had some difficulty in that regard. And we reviewed some of the evidence that clearly shows that he's having some cognitive impairment and may, in fact, even have an early sign of dementia. And I'm willing to really lay out the evidence for you on that. And by the way, again, this is something that we're doing regretfully. We wished we didn't have to do this, but also I think it's important to realize that whenever someone has a difficulty, it's often said that you cannot really tell what's wrong with them without examining them. And as a physician, you examine them. But in this particular instance, we have 30 to 40 years worth of video evidence that we can watch a progression from the time when Senator Biden and then Vice President Biden was at the top of his game. And we see how there's been a significant decline in the last few years and really accelerating in the last few months. So what I did was I looked at 5 different areas that characterize either a mild cognitive impairment, or what we call MCI, mild cognitive impairment, or an early stage of dementia. And those 5 areas are memory issues, which I think we're all familiar with, something we call word finding difficulty finding the right words, which again, all of us experience at one time or another. We have that tip of the tongue syndrome, we're looking for a word, but when it happens repeatedly, that becomes a problem and is a sign of either cognitive impairment or dementia. Language issues, either expressing or understanding language, and using numbers, calculation as well. Disorientation to person, place, or time. And finally, behavioral issues, often either having aggressive or inappropriate behavior. So those 5 areas are the areas that characterize a dementia, a cognitive impairment, and those can be used to assess if somebody's having some difficulty with that.